Good morning. Are we 5 by 5, y'all Beaverines? What's going on? Friday. Thank goodness. thank thank goodness it's Friday. It's been a long week, actually. Plays a lot. How are you doing? Little me stands alone. Maria in. Thank you for the 5 by 5. Dynamite. What's up, my brother? Micah. Tony Durbin. Oh my goodness, we're flying. Lock, stock, and prepped. Jim McKay. Good morning. Lewis Taylor. What's up, brother? Sarah. Zaza, Briar Patch, Sherman Sales, Tiny Titan, how are you doing? Master Blaster, who I'm always seeing in the chat replay, dropping all kinds of stuff. T Lyman, what's going on? Hang on, it's getting real. Yes, it is. Good morning. McLovin, possibly the name of the day for y'all super bad fans out there. Dennis Ross, what's going on? Richard T. All right. So quickly, Nellis Heltzel. I think I'm saying that right, ma'am. Thank you very much for the mean bean this morning. So I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you. And some things they just don't stick. You know, you get on here and you try and tell people what's coming. And I've said that I don't know. Maybe I got a crystal ball, son, but I've always said I don't have a crystal ball that I'm aware of. Maybe I've got one up my rear end or something like this, but I've tried to. I get on here and I try and tell people, hey, I believe this is coming. I believe this is coming. I see this parallel. I see this parallel. Philip Daly, how are you doing? Some people listen. Some people's like, YouTube is just for entertainment purposes only, and they go on with their eyes as big as 50-cent pieces on to the next live stream or whatever. Heathen, KP Heathen has a magic 8 ball. Well, that's close enough. So I tried to warn people about the incoming digital age, the social credit score that looks very, very much like what we're already seeing in China, what we're going to be seeing here in the United States. And of course, some people heeded that warning and they started, I said, stack silver, set up a bartering network, people, local folks, pawn shops, butchers. We went over this, the Amish, get in good with them, set up a bartering network if you know any other preppers. Some people did this. Again, most people, it just doesn't stick for them. So Visa has announced, Richard T, how are you doing? Has announced major changes incoming later this year. Selling Prepper, what's up, brother? So they are going to be consolidating all of their cards into a single card. All right, this thing's not an actual card. That's why I'm doing the air quotes, so stick around for that one. It may be a physical card as well for a little while, but they're consolidating everything. So let's say you got 5 or 6 different cards through Visa. If you do, you're loco, by the way. But let's say you do. You've got different branded, even through different banks. Let's say you've got a Chase one. It's got the Visa logo. You're over here. You've got the Visa logo. They're consolidating everything in. They're adding Zelle, Venmo, Affirm, PayPal, etc. All of this stuff is going to now fall under one umbrella. And here's a direct quote from Visa. The industry is at a pivotal point. New technology like Gen AI, artificial intelligence, are rapidly shifting how we shop. Not even a year ago. Said right here at this beautiful desk in my chair that used to be new. It's like 3.5 years old now, son. Bonnie's, how are you doing? Good morning. And I said, this is going to happen. They're going to begin to consolidate things to the 8, maybe the top 10 banks in the world, the heavy hitters. We're going to see events take place. A lot of smaller banks are going to go under. They're consolidating. The same thing in retail, right? Your smaller stores can't stay afloat. Everything's being consolidated up to Amazon, Walmart, Costco. They're only going to give you a few options, okay? But they're telling you in black and white here, the industry is at a pivotal point because of AI. Um, This is going to allow Visa and people that have Visa to move money, and I use that term very lightly because not actual money, across various banks instantly. And it's going to require a quick scan of your biometrics for you Mark of the Beast folks out there, okay? Face, fingerprints, retinal scan, whatever the case may be eventually. Who knows, a chip, I'm just saying, implanted somewhere in your body. But again, you can tell people, but they're not going to listen to it. Maybe they make you wear an armband. Again, maybe they put that chip in there, whatever. But this new Visa primarily will begin as a smartphone application. You download this, it consolidates everything. You do everything from your phone across multiple banks. Again, if you have, money in this bank, a credit card through this particular bank, whatever, it's going to shuffle stuff around immediately. This is called the Visa Payment Passkey Service. And it's more convenient. They're saying it's more convenient. Nobody wants to keep using dirty, filthy fiat currency, paper money, right? They don't want to do it, son. They want convenience. They want to be able to stand there at the gas station and have the attendant scan your retinas or check the chip in your arm so you can get, fuel and be on your way. Sounds a whole lot like consolidation to me. Before we move forward here, Michael says we're in the end days. Perhaps. I think we're in the end days of the United States. Or we in the end days of the world? I don't know. The Holy Bible is true. Yes, Chase has already asked for a fingerprint. Excellent, Dad, because Visa is just going to be the first. You're going to see, I think Apple is working on a program. I don't have like the Apple Pay or whatever, the Apple cards, so I don't really know. They may have already put it into place. MasterCard will soon follow, American Express, and then it's game over. Lewis Taylor, I don't do biometrics, period. Well, I hope you have stacked a lot of silver and set those networks up because they're pushing us to a point where are going to have to choose. Do we go to the grocery store? Are we allowed to buy fuel for the vehicle? If so, you're going to be using biometrics. If not, you're not getting what you want. And they know this. This is the plan. Let me see here. I don't want to miss this one. Steph L, thank you and good morning to you. Shout out from my son Steven, aka making me read all these hard words. Lugnuts Flood, who turns 35 years old today. Best son ever and also a Prepper Nation fan. I appreciate that. And also mom's prepping buddy. There you go. Steven, they will tell you that the best is yet to come, but they are filthy liars. Happy birthday to you, but they are filthy liars. Because what's going to happen is you're going to wake up, it's going to feel like 1 year from now, and you're going to be almost 50. And you're going to be like, how did it come to this? Not trying to depress you, sir, but it is what it is. Oh, happy birthday, man. River Rat, Chase will fall by the end of the year. I don't know. They're one of the largest banks out there. So we'll see. We will see. I had to put my face in the phone to get into buildings and all their in-housing apps. Yeah, I mean, again, you can tell people this world is coming and it's coming very soon. As soon as they started to implement artificial intelligence, I knew at that point, bro, we're looking at months now, not years. Literally just months before we begin to see the implementation of all digital everything currency wise. I mean, their theme parks don't even take cash anymore. You're starting to see a lot of stores, certain restaurants popping up. They don't take. I've been to. My daughter's dragged me to, albeit Christian concert, so I shouldn't say she's dragged me, but we went in there. She was buying a T-shirt, and I'm like giving her the cash, and she's like, "No, Dad, they don't take cash here. You have to have, you know, you have to have a card or something." I'm like, "Well, this is scary." And again, this was at a Christian concert. I'm just saying. So it sounds like consolidation. the the fabrication or the lie of convenience by eliminating options. All right. Your ability. Here's the thing. I remember specifically about 2 year ago, 2 year, fourscore year, whatever. It was a long time ago. I had less gray hair. I'll be honest with you on that. Sitting here telling people your number one weapon is that you are a consumer and that you can hit people in the pocketbooks, you can hit companies in the pocketbooks, you can punish them financially. Okay. I remember saying that. But your ability to punish companies and to cancel them financially, that's coming to an end. It's about to be game over on that one. See, it's still going to be a weapon, it's still going to be weaponized, but you will no longer have the power. These banks, these financial institutions, they're going to have the power to cancel you. You don't want to play along with the biometrics. You don't want to take a chip in the arm. You don't want to wear a certain armband, or maybe they'll get retro with it and get a headband like the 1980s or something like that. Or you don't want to scan your phone on everything. You're out of the loop. You're going to be living like you're Amish. That's the only way you're going to survive very, very soon. And I'm talking about very, very soon. People seeing in this community, they seem to, when they hear something, they're like, oh, well, we got 6, 7, 8 years, 2030. 2030 is going to be nasty. But the road to 2030 is nasty. All right. This is going to be coming way before 2030. It's coming in your lifetime and very, very soon. So please understand that. Banks are about to cancel you, right? You say something controversial online. This channel, me having this channel, can stop me from purchasing things at the store. People say, well, that's crazy talk. What are you talking about, son? You done lost your mind. What you over there drinking? But it's the truth. Places like PayPal, Venmo, GoFundMe, certain banks and financial institutions have already canceled people for saying things online that they didn't like. Think about all of the wars that we're caught up in right now. If you go on, shall we say, Facebook, which is a dying platform, I'm just throwing it out there. You go on Facebook and you say, stop sending money to Ukraine, it's getting ridiculous. Then you go out 2 hours later and you trying to buy Marlboro Red, son. And they're like, I'm sorry, you've been declined. Chase doesn't want you. Chase doesn't want you as a customer. Visa doesn't want you as a customer. Once you're flagged by one, you're going to be flagged by all. This is how it's going to work. You will be canceled. I mean, straight up. And this is a decades long plan. They didn't just think this up last Saturday night. You know, they're tuning in. They're like, oh man, there's no shotgun Saturday night, over at Prepper Nation this week. Let's come up with a plan to scheme people. No, they've been hard at work at this for decades, which we're getting ready to get into. Okay. I brought some receipts this morning. Oh, let me see here. Just got a letter from Lowe's Home Improvement that my card is going to a digital app. It's Kay, thank you for posting that. It's happening so fast now that people are literally the people that are in denial right now, because they're out there. They're going to be sitting here a year from now saying, man, what happened? What happened? Our cash is going to be like, you're going to have to go on eBay and buy it like you would paper food stamps. They're going to be gone soon. These dead presidents that are printed on paper, that's going away very, very soon. So let's get into it. The gold rush began in 1848 here in the United States of America. And because of this gold rush, why was there a gold rush in the first place? Y'all want to comment on that real quick? There was a gold rush because people know gold has value. It's intrinsically valuable. It is worth something right out of the gates. Why does it have intrinsic value? Because you can't print gold. You can print pallets full of money and send it to Ukraine, pallets full of money and send it to Israel. It's just paper with a little bit of ink on it. And those ridiculous anti-counterfeiting strips that apparently they say don't work, right? God's money, that's a great way of putting it, Captain Silva. But when it comes to gold, there's only so much. It has actual value. So the gold rush began in 1848. In the 1930s, the U.S. government confiscated the gold. Does everybody know that? Everybody in chat know that. The U.S. government actually made it illegal for you to own gold. Why? Because the U.S. government realized that was valuable. What they were about to give you, not so much. They were stealing your wealth back in the 1930s. The Gold Reserve Act of 1934 basically introduced the idea of fiat currency, paper money, with gold backing. It was a scam straight away. Well, you've been working for gold and silver, right? I've got a bunch of silver Morgans just because I love the history behind them. Not to get sidetracked, but somebody asked me a few weeks ago because I'd said I'd sold some gold, or excuse me, silver, and I'd bought a bunch more silver. They said, "How is that possible?" I was selling uncirculated 1 ounce rounds and buying a lot more Morgans because I actually favor Morgans, but that's how anyway. I don't know if it's worth more, but it's worth more to me. You know what I mean? I got more silver stacked. But anyway, so they said, you don't need this gold. We'll keep it for you. Here's a piece of paper money that says it's worth X amount of gold. Here, you work for this now. You don't work for this over here. Where'd the gold go? First of all, I would really like to know where the gold went that they confiscated and outlawed here in the United States. Okay, so they sold people on that scam for a while. And then in 1971, the US dollar backed off of gold completely. See what they did there? The old shell game. You start out with something that's actually valuable in gold. Then they say, well, you don't really need to hold gold. It's more convenient if you just have paper money. So here you go, son. We'll hang on to the gold, in a proper place. We don't want you filthy heathens to have it. We'll keep it over here at the Treasury. We'll give you paper money. And then they came over here again in 1971 and said, you know what? This isn't backed by gold anymore. They keep moving away from gold. And every single time that they do, it gets less and less and less valuable. It's been worthless paper, in my opinion, ever since. Ever since they moved it completely away from gold. Worthless paper. That is what people spend 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 2 hours a day, if you're a millennial or Gen Z or something like that, working toward. Backed by ink. There you go. Backed by a promise to pay. We promise. There's no gold here, son, but this is the government. You can trust us. You know what I mean? It's got George Washington on the front for crying out loud. You can trust it, that it is actually worth something. No, it's been worthless paper. But here is the dilemma. And here is the shell game playing even further out now. Worthless paper still gives you options. As a consumer, seriously, worthless paper still gives you options because right now, if you go into your local Walmart, they're pushing all digital everything. I always go to Walmart. I need to stop doing that, y'all. But you go in, if you pay with cash, Walmart still accepts as cash because they're under the illusion that it's actually worth something. The consumer is under the illusion that because Walmart's taking it, it's actually worth something. But it's not. And the options that you have as a consumer is it gives you a little bit of control over your life. Look at it from a prepping standpoint for a second, okay? Let me grab this question. Michael, how are you doing? What happens when the fiat currency crashes and go digital? Then how will precious metals be reevaluated? I think is what you're trying to say. So once everything goes all digital, you're not going to be able to buy anything off off of the, out of bounds unless you've set up a barter network. So it wouldn't matter if you bought $100,000 worth of gold or silver. They're going to know you have it at some point. So the time to get it would be now. As far as reevaluated, I don't know. I don't trust um I don't trust the government. Well, John isn't a dumb hillbilly. He's smart and he cares. I do care. My intelligence can be questioned for sure. I don't know everything. And I don't even look at the term hillbilly as, a slanderous term. I look at it and I think, country boys can survive. I'm just saying. So, as a consumer, you can still, as I was just saying, Michael, you can go and buy things. Yeah, some places got cameras. People have pointed this out. Well, you're already on camera anyway, but you can go places where they don't have cameras. I can go to my Amish store, for example. It's a pretty big one nearby. And I can buy a lot of prepping staples. And I can do this with cash. And I can take this stuff home, and nobody in the government is any the wiser that I have any of this stuff, right? But by confiscating the paper, they're outlawing the paper is basically the same thing they did when they outlawed the gold. They're confiscating the paper under the guise that it's more convenient, and they're giving you numbers on a computer screen with the agreement that you can only access these numbers if you do exactly what we tell you to do. Think about how crazy that is for a second. Take the idea, the concept of money completely out of it for a second. Okay, especially you Christians out there. I'm going to break it down on a fundamental level. So, these banks are basically telling you, once we switch over to digital, they're telling you, you cannot say anything that goes against the agenda. You will eat exactly what we tell you to eat. You will eat exactly how much we tell you to eat. You will follow the program to the letter, or you will not have the ability to buy, sell, and trade. And then what do you do at that point? If you haven't prepared for it up to that point, what are you going to do? You can watch your kids starve? People will say grow food, and that's fantastic, but it takes a while. There not only is there a learning curve, but it takes a while for the food to grow. What are you going to do? Tell your kids to fast for 90 days till the green beans pop out? You know what I'm saying? I'm just using a random example here. No, of course not. And they know this. You're not going to sit around and watch your kids starve. So you're going to comply. We were talking about the bugs yesterday. I'm not eating the bugs. Sarah, good morning. How are you doing? And Mike McDonald, how are you doing? I'm not eating the bugs. Forget that. If you go to the grocery store and pretty much everything there has bugs in it at some point, what option do you have? You can do meats, you can do produce, you can do fruits for sure, dairy, you know, but they're going to cap you out on all of that stuff. They're not going to allow you to just exist on that stuff. This is about full on compliance. That's all this has ever been about. They've talked about, making the planet greener. Well, we got to switch to all digital because it's about saving the planet. You hear this term a lot, contactless. Um, yeah, there's always squirrel, Richard T, which I get what you're saying, but not if enough people are hunting. They're going to be hunted out fast. The same thing with deer, with venison and stuff like that. They get hunted out quickly. Then what? Right? We saw that during the Great Depression, and our numbers, our population here in the United States was way low compared to what it is now. You get enough hungry people out there hunting and fishing, that stuff's going to dry up quickly. But I get what you're saying. Contactless, contactless pay. It's so convenient. It's cleaner. You don't have to touch paper money or that filthy change. Remember when there was supposedly a change shortage, but then again, there really wasn't. They were just saying change is nasty and the COVID really shook us up and we don't really want to take change or give back change. contactless pay is better. It's cleaner, right? No, these are both lies. The greener planet and the contactless pay is cleaner. This is about large banks owning you and me. I'm not immune to this, folks. I'm just like everybody that's watching this right now. This is a long-term strategy. Banks have been trying to get total control. They're mostly in control now of the US population. Well, since Thomas Jefferson was around, I'm just saying, because we're going to go to a quote here in a minute. But this is about banks owning us outright. They can't do that if we're using paper money. They can't do that if we've got 400 different options when it comes to credit and debit cards and banks and things, community banks, credit unions. These are going to be wiped out, folks. They're good options right now, but they're going to be wiped out. And they're going to be consolidated into the top 8 or the top 10. I promise you this is coming and very soon. I thought we had several more years left. AI completely took off. Okay. Now they're talking about the banking industry. I've seen restaurants that are fully automated, fast food joints that are fully automated between AI, I mean, this stuff is just so out of control so fast. Not trying to get sidetracked, but I've seen fast food restaurants out in California. It always seems to start there, right? Where you go through the drive through and you're talking to AI. It's already replacing cashiers, but now it's starting to replace cooks and things like this. It's not just a restaurant thing. This is going to replace all kinds of jobs, and it's going to take over the all digital world. The currency is coming, I assure you. Um, I'm going to leave you with a quote, okay? And again, this is by Thomas Jefferson. This one should hit home because Thomas Jefferson, whatever you may think of him, like him, hate him, whatever the case may be, he was a well-read, well-educated man for his time period. He could put the parallels together, and he was trying to warn people. He wasn't sitting at a desk as sexy as this one, son. He wasn't sitting here with all this gray hair and a squeaky chair and a coffee that's sponsored by Nellis again, ma'am. Thank you. But here's a quote from Thomas Jefferson. See how relevant this quote is. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, these banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless. What do you think about that quote? Y'all let me know in the comments. God bless.